So slow. Okay. Today I am excited because we have an author with us that is going to be on our dip shop in October, but I'm also excited because I was a part of her writing journey. I love it. So today we have Paula, who writes under the pen name PM Southerland. And she makes words rhyme, blending storytelling and cultural insights. From gumbo pots to life lessons, she explores navigating complexities marked by wisdom gained from past experiences and successes. Her book is called Paula's Gumbo Rhymes, Tidbits, and Takeaways. And when I tell y'all it's a whole bunch of takeaways in this book, y'all got to get it. But anyway, I want to welcome Paula to the
Thank
Dynamic Image
you.
Author Talk. How are you today?
Hi, I'm pretty good. Thank you, Christian. Yes, you were part of this. It would not have happened. It would not have made it across that final finish line if it wasn't for your contribution. So appreciate all the work that you did.
I love it. So before I get into my questions, I have an icebreaker that I've been doing with all of the authors, and it's a this or that situation. So when I give you these two things, you have to just ramble off the first one that you agree with. Okay?
Okay,
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. First one is fiction or nonfiction.
Nonfiction.
Okay, we about tied so far with the interviews on that one. Okay. Second one is second chance romance books or enemies to lovers.
Second chance romance books.
Me too, me too. Series or a standalone novel.
Series.
Mm-hmm. A short novella or a full-length novel.
Full length novel.
Okay. And the last one is a physical book or a digital book.
Oh, I like to turn the pages. I like to
Yes,
turn
yes,
the
yes, yes,
pages.
yes. I feel like I have all the same ones as you, for real. Except I'm a fiction girly. Everybody knows I love me a fake, whatever. But I think we got most of the same ones, so that's cool. Okay, so for the people who don't know you, tell us about your writing journey. Because it's been some years. I'm gonna get to that because I got a question about that. But tell us a little bit about your writing journey.
Well, the real story about my writing journey is that when I graduated from high school, I love reading books. And I wanted to be a author, but I didn't know that Black people did this.
Mm,
So when I researched it, it said you need to live a life of experiences. Um, and the authors that I was reading my mom's books, paperback books, and those authors, they wrote the book when they retired. So I said, I'm gonna write a book when I retire. And about 2 years ago, I said, ooh, I'm about to retire. You gotta write a book. So it's been 40 years in the making. And so when I said I had to live all these life experiences, I'm like, I'm not going to remember this. So every year for the past 40 something years, I've written a holiday rhyme that kind of touched on some of the things that were going on in my life, some of the things that were going on in the world, just to give me an idea of what to write about. So here we are 40 years later.
So that
And
was actually, I'll just move that question up. So I noticed on your Facebook page, you mentioned that this was a promise that you made to yourself over 40 years ago. So it was
yes,
because you thought you had to wait to retire to write. That's awesome. I just think about how, because our big thing with dynamic image is black storytelling and preserving that. And I think about how we all had, even with our age difference, when I was younger I didn't see black authors either. So I just think that's amazing how it just is. It's not really, I don't want to say bad amazing, but it's just mind boggling to me how that happens for us.
my uncle is an artist.
Mm,
And so when he graduated from high school and went to college, he started as an engineer, but he had always been an artist too. and his parents, base family said, you can't make no money like that. So
Right.
he started as an architect, and it was maybe 3 years into his college career. Then he said, forget this. I'm just gonna go for art. But it's kind of the same thing. Those weren't things that our we thought made money,
Right.
or we were careers, or we didn't know people that looked like us that did this.
Yeah. And I think what's really great about your book is that it's not just, you don't just focus on like what was happening in your life in the tidbits, but it's historical, right? You touch on a lot of relevant things in Black culture. Why do you feel like it was important to include that, even not even in the book, but just while you were writing the rhymes every year?
You said, why did I feel it was important to? I missed the last thing.
Why did you feel it was important to include that when you were writing the rhymes instead of just focusing on what was going on in your life?
Oh, because we exist in the world. I mean, so much of what we do kind of shapes who we are, and what's going on in the world. We may start off one way doing something, and we have to pivot because of life happens. And so, that's a part of, to me, that's a part of living. That's a part of growing up. That's a part of our experiences.
I agree. I agree. So, fast forward after you made this promise to yourself and you decided to write the book. What made you decide to do independent and not go the traditional route? Or did you have reservations about that? Walk us through that.
No, yeah, I don't know why I did that. We're now we can Google everything, and so I Googled it, and I have friends that have self-published books, and
Okay.
so I thought that I have lots of friends who have self-published books. So I just thought that was the easier way. I said, but then I know some famous people who went through a publishing company. I'm like, well, I feel like they did that because they were famous, right? I didn't know to go look and find somebody or to shop my book around or any of that. I just didn't know that process. Self-publishing just seemed like the easiest way to do it.
When you were researching that, did you feel like there was like conflicting information, or was it kind of basically like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do?
No, that was pretty much what I was going to do. And I end up self-publishing and printing my own books. Now that I never intended to do. I really planned on doing this on Amazon, but because of
Hmm.
the schedule of the holidays, and I had my own deadline that I wanted the book out by Christmas, that's why I printed my own books, and I have been selling them that way. The second version will be through print on demand and an ebooks, all of that. So that's what I'm working on now.
Awesome. And I think that's a good point because a lot of people feel like once you publish the book, that's it. So, how has the experience been different from you just seeing what your friends have went through than what you're going through now as a self-published author on the other side of the publishing?
Well, interesting. So I have a lot of friends that are still in their career,
Hmm.
and they're public speakers, or they're doing those kind of things. And so the book is a part of their package, right? It's something they have materials when they speak or present. So they laughed at me when I said I wrote the book and I'm finished, and they're just like, "Oh, you got no." She said, "God has been waiting on you to open that door." And so since then, I've done some spoken word. I've
Oh, good.
participated in another compilation, and so it's just like what I thought when I was finishing. It's really just the beginning, as well
Mm,
as just the whole. I won't share too much, but I have a framework around my book, this next iteration, and some merchandise. Um,
okay.
you know, going with the gumbo theme.
Yes. We love gumbo. We love gumbo.
Right.
So you kind of answered this already, but maybe you have some more. What is one thing that you wish you knew before you published that you know now?
Oh, what did I know? So since mine is nonfiction,
Hmm.
um, this is a funny thing. To me, this is a funny thing. And so I did my book release 6 months ago. So on the anniversary of 6 months, I did a reader survey. And
Okay.
I basically told people, so in this journey, I've learned that, there are people that buy the book because they're readers. There's people that buy the book because they're supporting you. And then there's people that just say, congratulations, I'm so proud of you. So I wish I had known about the people that just buy the book, because when I did the reader survey, I'm just like, so you did read the book?
That's
So,
a good point. That's a good point because I'm like, where the reviews at? Are y'all not reading? Like, what's going on? No, they just
yeah.
buying it, and I'm like, that's a good point because I never even thought about that. I'm like, well, I like reviews too, and they like, well,
Well,
I just bought it to buy it.
and then I laugh because I'm like, how many books do I have in my house that I haven't read? Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. That's a lot.
Right. I
You
keep
sure
buying books,
right. I can't be mad at them because we doing the same thing. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, so actually, I only really got one more question. So this we you answered all my questions. This is crazy. But I want to get into I know we don't want to tell too many of the secrets, but I'm assuming the gumbo is your favorite recipe. Is that true?
That is my favorite recipe that other people like too. Right. I mean, I
Okay,
cook a
so
lot.
tell
So yes, that
tell
is
us
one of
the
my favorites.
history behind the gumbo recipe.
So the gumbo recipe, I was a flight attendant and I went into New Orleans and I had gumbo. I had never had that before. So
Mm, and you
when
got
I,
it
I
in the best place.
and I lived in Houston at the time. So when I came back to Houston, I was just like, I found some gumbo seasoning. And literally, I made my first pot of gumbo on a Christmas. I came home to St. Louis, used the leftover turkey, and made a pot of gumbo using the seasoning. And I've just been trying to perfect that because you didn't have it in St. Louis. You had obviously you
Mm-mm.
had gumbo in Houston, but you didn't have that in St. Louis. So I'm just trying to perfect it. And so then I would have a Christmas Eve celebration because all my in Houston because all my friends were married and had children. So I would cook a pot of gumbo and we would do the gift things and then they would go on. We either go to church or they would go on to their families to be Santa Claus and all that. And so over the I've done that every year. So I've done the Christmas Eve thing every year when me and my husband got married. Cooks barbecue, so we have aprons that he says he's the grill king and I am the gumbo queen. And so we
Okay.
combine that for Christmas Eve now. And so that's where the gumbo came from. And I used just obviously the trilogy when I thought about the tidbits and takeaways, the gumbo rhymes, tidbits and takeaways. That's like the trilogy of the celery, the green pepper and onions. Those are the three components.
Hmm. I love that. That was one of the things that stuck out to me when we first started discussing the book. And I lied. I do have one more question. I just thought about it. So, I don't. So you've been doing events, so you're 6 months in. What are you when people come to you and say, "Hey, like, what is this book is about?" Besides what we read earlier, what is one thing that you want them to take away when they're reading it? One or two things. It don't got to be just one thing.
I know, and because I touch on so many things, and
You
this is one of the
do.
reasons I touch on so many things because life is like that. It's not like we don't. It's just not just one thing that happens. It's a
Yeah.
whole bunch of different things. So it's really about what resonates with you. And so when I spoke to my nieces and nephews, really, this is kind of some of the information that I wish I had when I was younger. So even though
Hmm.
some of it's just simple life stuff, some of it's medical stuff, some of it's these are things that I wish I knew. I just wish I knew. And so, as I talk to people, I ask them, what is your gumbo? And I tell them to
Mm.
own their journey because to me, that's what writing the book was about. I had to own my journey and I had to get over the fear of what that journey encompassed, some of those things that it included. But I'm like, God did not make us a spirit of fear, So I had to get beyond that. But it was about what would help other people. So I'm hoping that my story helps somebody else in any of the different challenges, as well as the successes that I encountered and that I described in the 179 pages.
And that just gave me another question. See, oh my gosh. Okay, so I have a lot of clients who when they're writing nonfiction, they are worried about how people they might be writing about are perceiving it. And I feel like we may have had this conversation, but I don't think, because I know you did this very well. But one thing that I tell them is to focus on their particular part of the story and how they felt about what was going on, and not necessarily other people's actions. So was that something, because like you touch on a lot of different things and a lot of personal family things. Was it hard for you to say, I'm going to write about this? Did they perceive it well? Or was there like some tension behind that? Like, oh, well, what are you going to say? And how do you feel like you navigate? I think you did it well, but in your own perspective, how do you feel like you navigated that?
Well, thank you. And what I tell people, the only person I was throwing under the bus was me. And so that's kind of what I was, my God. I'm like, I'm not throwing anybody else under the bus but me. And so if you were a part of the story, then I tried to let you be a part of the story, but not the only person that was really getting thrown under the bus was me. I wasn't trying to
That's
hurt
a
or
good
harm
point. I
anybody.
like that.
Yeah. Was not trying to hurt or harm anybody else.
We're gonna have to quote that. I'm gonna tell, don't throw nobody else under the bus but yourself. Unless you're ready to go to court.
Right.
Well, that was my last question, I promise. So, is there anything else that you want the readers to know about you before they meet you at the event?
Hopefully just that I'm so proud of this opportunity that I've had. It's coming full circle. I'm literally 40 years in the making. Who knew? And when I realized I was getting ready to retire, and I said, you have to write a book, and I prayed about it. And God basically said, you already wrote the book.
You
And so
already did.
I'm just writing the book. And when I explained to people about reading the book, and I was just like, it's not a book where you have to start at the beginning and go through the end.
Right.
It's not like that. They're not, it's, yes, it's a year to year, but it's not a continuation of a story. So I tell them, I'm like, so pick out a year. What was a good year to you? 1996. Read 1996 and see what was going on that year. I said, or I have the rhymes that are in the back of the book. And so the proudest moment I have through this process is when the graphic designer, he was doing some of my marketing materials, and he put author, poet. And I was just like, oh
That's
my God,
you.
all I do is make words rhyme. I never really considered myself to be a poet. I make words rhyme. And the reason that it's the rhymes, the tidbits, and takeaways is that I can't read a book of poetry.
Mm,
It's great to get these messages once a year, not so much when you have 40 years worth, okay?
I
So
get that. I feel you. Yes.
right, so I can't even do it. So that's where the tidbits and the takeaways came in, because I had to break that up. And so the tidbit again is a little bit more information. The takeaway is a lesson that was learned out of that process. And so it's a good read, but you have to do it the way you do. I go back and read it, and I don't read the rhymes. I just read the tidbits and takeaways.
But you know what? I feel like the way you put it together was so good, because it's like the rhyme is the recipe, right? But the
Right.
tidbit is the cooking instructions. It's how, you know what I'm saying? Like I can read the recipe, but I don't really get it. Then I'm like, I read the cooking instructions, like, okay, that makes sense now. So I
Yeah.
think I love the way you put it together. So I
Well,
think I think people will really resonate with how you wrote it.
yeah, I appreciate that. But I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. So I'm excited. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us today. And we can't wait to see you in October.
Well, congratulations. What anniversary is it?
20.
20 years.
20. I have no clue. Like you said, I don't know what I was doing. The Lord just, yeah, he did all of that. So
Well, I'm honored that you let me be a part of this.
We appreciate you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.